Hey guys, Midnight Strike here, and today I'm going to be reviewing The End of Heartache, the 2004 album by Killswitch Engage, also their third. So the last time I did my summer discographies on Killswitch Engage, I had just got done, of course, reviewing their second studio album, Alive or Just Breathing, which had Jesse Leach on vocals and Adam D on drums. Two things that would change during this transition between their second and third albums. So Killswitch Engage were going through a lot of turmoil that was really not that well publicized during the time period that it was going on in. So, for one, Jesse Leach was going through some hard emotional struggles, as well as some vocal degradation going on as a result. He would blow out his voice at nearly every show, and wasn't really getting the same motivation that he was for music. He basically said, "I'm done with music," and walked off. So, he didn't even want to face his band members at this time period. So without Jesse, the band was forced to make a very crucial decision, and they brought in Blood Has Been Shed members Justin Foley for drums and Howard Jones for vocals. So Justin Foley, it's a really interesting story because Adam D was the old drummer Dut Kiewicz, I think that's his last name, but yeah, I just say Adam D. I'm really horrible at names. Most people just call him Adam D. Anyways, now he's the lead guitarist because they brought in Justin Foley. It was a very, very crucial decision for Howard Jones and Justin Foley to join the band because this was basically a breath of fresh air. That's what this album really is. It sounds like a band who was going through some really hard times and really hard emotional struggles and emotional turmoil, and then they just basically grabbed the reins, got back on their feet, and made another killer album. So this one is a lot more radio-friendly, a lot more polished, but it still retains the aggressive nature that was on Alive or Just Breathing, but it's toned down a little bit, significantly actually, significantly. So, it's probably their most commercial album aside from the dreadful KSE09, which I will unfortunately get into after As Daylight Dies. So, yeah, don't like that album. Love this album, but don't like that one. So, The End of Heartache, this is definitely their most melodic album, and it's definitely, getting into the more mainstream commercialism that metalcore was headed into at this time. So, like I said, very aggressive still, and Howard Jones definitely cements himself as a very formidable vocalist, especially with his baritone-style vocals where they're really low, they're really powerful, and man, can he scream. He has some of the best screams on this album. This and Daylight Dies are just mind-blowing. I love these two albums. So let's get into them. First song, A Bid Farewell. This one has a very memorable intro, some good drum beats here and there. You can definitely hear the bass as well. It's very low key, and some little bit of frantic guitars before getting into the actual melody. This is a slower song, slower paced, kind of the mid-tempo, and it's got some good singing in here and there. Not much screaming. I mean, there is some screaming, but not as much. And this is really the first taste of what people got when they, bought The End of Heartache and listened to it through and through. In my opinion, it's not one of the standout tracks, but it is a very formidable track, to say the least. Take This Oath. This is a very interesting track, being the only song with both Jesse Leach and Howard Jones on vocals. So let me elaborate. Jesse Leach actually sings the vocal harmonies on this song, as well as a little bit of the backing vocals. So I don't know if it was some studio outtakes or something, because Jesse was definitely not in the band during this time. So it's really confusing for me to think about. I couldn't get any info on it, but I'm still digging. So Howard Jones sang on the latter half of it, more so, on the 2/3 of the way into it, and his voice is phenomenal on this song, as well as on the rest of the album, like I said. So definitely a standout, probably in my top 5, and the third one is When Darkness Falls. This one is a more of a melodic kind of song. It's got a more melodic approach as to the aggressive nature that is Take This Oath. Of course, that one was melodic as well, but then again, that can be said about the entire album. This one is a little bit more melodic, as I said. Still got that intense nature. It definitely sets the tone. It's very atmospheric. Really like it. Lyrics are good, as well as the singing and just the guitar tone overall. So yeah, Rose of Sharon, this is the next one. This is probably the most aggressive song on the album. It's really fast, it's really frantic, it's got good lyrics, and like I said, great screams by Howard Jones and Adam D. Adam Dutkiewicz, I'll probably just call him that. And it's a really good song, probably one of my favorites by Killswitch Engage overall. So yeah, high marks for this one. If you're not going to listen to this entire album, at least listen to this song because it is amazing. So, yeah, probably got some a little bit more melodic elements about 3/4 of the way through the song, and it's one of those things where you just have to listen to over and over and over again because you feel just amazing. Just like you want to rock out to this song. It's just awesome. Inhale. This one is a really slower song in contrast with Rose of Sharon, which is really fast, really aggressive, really upbeat, and really just intense. This one just kind of takes it a step back and is really calm, really soothing, really melodic, and it's just a little 1 minute 15-second intro with the guitars. Not really much going on here. It's very simplistic, but it's more to set the tone for the next song, which is Breathe Life, which picks up, and it's probably the second most aggressive song on the album. And much like Rose of Sharon, it goes into a melodic chorus or a melodic structure more towards the latter half of the song. So some great screams in this one and great guitar tones. There's actually a little bit of a sliding guitar in the beginning. Sounds really good. So next one is, of course, The End of Heartache, which is the most melodic track on the entire album, being, of course, the title track. It definitely sets the tone, and it definitely encompasses and gives off a vibe for what the rest of the album is going to sound like, or what the album sounds like as a whole, moreover. So really great screams, really great lyrics, probably my favorite lyrics from Killswitch Engage. I really like this song, and it's really got a slow start. It's a really like mid-tempo, slowish mid-tempo song, but it's really melodic and it's really powerful, and it's just the vocals are great, the style is great, the structure is just spot on. Probably one of the best songs on the album. Like I said, top 3 pretty much. So Rose of Sharon's my favorite, but this is probably either second or third. So it's got some great screams in the beginning, some great use of vocal distortion. There's some distorted vocals, much like they do later on As Daylight Dies on the title track. So really great use of all the other effects. So yeah, really like the song. Declaration, this one's more of a slow, drudgy, kind of like doomy metal song. And it's really, like I said, slow and just really heavy and really downbeat, really intense. And I really like the beginning part, the intro, much as I did in A Bid Farewell. So some really good ones. There's some really good low screams as well. Not one of my favorites on the album, but it is definitely a good song. Next one is World Ablaze. I don't know why they chose this as a standout track, and I say that because they actually made a DVD called Set This World Ablaze, which was a live concert from 2005. And of course with Howard Jones singing the back material from their back catalog from The End of Heartache previous. So, I mean, it was a good concert, albeit too much effects, too much, like production value. When I want to watch a live DVD, I want to watch the band. I don't want to watch, the band in HD with all these touch-ups and everything. But the interviews were cool, so I want to watch that again sometime. So, let's see. And Embers Rise. This is another aggressive one, a little bit mid-tempo. Got some great screams, got a great guitar tones. The drumming is really good, too. And it's a good song overall. Wasted Sacrifice, not one of my favorites. I think it's one of the more filler songs. And, of course, we get to the 12th track, as well as the last track, Hope Is... ... And really, it encompasses what you have listened to, and just puts it out there as a grand finale. And, it's not one of my favorites, but it is a very, very good standalone track. And I would definitely recommend listening to it. Some great screams, great vocals, great guitar tone, and just overall encompasses the breath of fresh air that this album is. As I said before, this sounds like a band that has gotten back up on their feet and revitalized themselves and reinvented themselves to try to find a new niche in the metalcore genre. So, they've shed behind them the rough, heavy production, the distorted production of Alive or Just Breathing, and taken on a new form. It's not even the fact that this is better than Alive or Just Breathing, or worse. It's the fact that this is a breath of fresh air to Killswitch Engage fans all around the world. So, it's not better than Alive or Just Breathing, in my opinion, but it might be to other people. So, I don't really even like to compare these two albums, because they're both phenomenal records, to say the least. So, overall, I'm probably going to give this album a 9.5 out of 10. This is definitely worth a listen, and if you just You know, you can't get into it. A few of these songs, just standouts include Rose of Sharon, The End of Heartache, Breathe Life, Take This Oath, and of course, Hope Is. So, with that, I hope you enjoyed this review. 9.5 out of 10. Thank you very much for watching. This is Midnight Strike 3625. Keep calm and rock on.